Hello, my loves. Give me 1 second. If you are watching the replay, please hashtag it replay. Let me know you are here. Please interact. Like, share, spread the love. Anything that helps support my channel is appreciated. I know it's been quite a while since I have gone live, but I really felt called to go live today. So we're just going to give it just a couple of minutes. I'm going live in a different way, so we'll see what happens. We will see. There is a lot of energy going on. I don't really like going live this way. I like it the other way. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. All right, so when you hop on, say hello. How is everybody doing? How is everybody feeling? This energy is uber intense. I'm going to go ahead and stream on TikTok as well. All right. So we're just going to get started. Hello, my loves. If you are new to me, or if you are just finding me, I am Johanna Burkhardt. I am a multidimensional channel, teacher, healer. And I'm really here to help you step into your self-mastery, right? To help you manage your energy, to really help you to find peace within your being with all this craziness that's happening and will continue, because the energy is only going to get more intense. It's only going to get, we're only going to feel it more. We're only going to see it more, right? It's really going to be something that is in our face. And that's why I'm on here today, is I really just want to talk about these energies. And I know I've done many updates, written updates on Instagram and Facebook to really help you guys understand what's happening. And we don't necessarily have to talk about it astrologically or any of those things. Like, those things aren't really what's important. It doesn't matter why it's happening. It matters what is happening and how you can navigate it and the things that you can do to get through it. And so this morning I was doing some auto writing, and I was listening to the guidance that was coming through. And this week, leading up to this week, has been very intense. Very intense. We have had so much energy that has been coming through, and it's really kind of, it can be two ways, right? You can allow it to move through you, which means you can allow the emotions, you can allow the releases, you can allow the changes, you can be the observer, and you can go with it. You can go into the flow of it. Or you can resist it and allow it to kind of backlog around you, right? Again, I use the analogy of an iPhone or an Android update, right? A phone update. If you don't have the space on your phone or your computer to do an update, what happens? You have to go in and you have to clear things out. You have to clear photos, emails, music, whatever, apps. You have to make the space. The same thing can be said about us and what's happening inside of us. We have to make the space. And when we don't, those updates backlog, right? And when they backlog, pretty soon we can no longer function as we always did. And we're definitely not functioning at full capacity, right? And so if you've ever had an outdated phone, right, things start to not work properly, things start to short, there start to be glitches and bugs before things just crash. And that's what can happen in our life this week. If we are not present, if we are not being the observer of our reality, we can see consequences of that manifest almost instantaneously. Almost instantaneously. So can The benefits, though, if you are listening, if you are being the observer, if you are looking at the predominant patterns that have been showing up in your life over the last 6 months, year, even longer than that. Because equinoxes, right, the new moon, all of these energies are about rebirth, right? Pluto going into Aquarius, all of these astrological things that we want to blame, they're just reminders. They're just a guidepost that says, hey, this is a massive rebirth. The guides have talked about March since last year, that March would be one of the biggest shifts that we would ever experience. And it's just the beginning, right? It doesn't mean that everything's going to shift all at once. It doesn't mean that everything's going to happen like this. This is what we expect in today's age, right? Instantaneous, everything happening very quickly. And that's just not the way that it actually works. We have the energetics, we have the feeling, we have the energetic thing that happens. And then there is a gap. There is a gap before we see it in manifest, in form. So we have already been feeling and leading up to this building, and a lot of people will say that they've been feeling this, right? Where they feel like something's coming, something really big is coming, something really big is about to happen. And they get frustrated when nothing happens. And it's because there's a space between where things have to form or deconstruct in the physical. What we feel isn't always what's happening in that exact moment. And so coming back to this energy is a massive rebirth. It's a massive restructuring, where equinoxes always are, but this one is different. This is setting us up for the next 20 years. And this is all about a massive restructuring of the collective, which means that we each individually make up that energy. So the biggest theme that I am seeing with my own private clients, within myself, within the collective, is patterns. In your mind, patterns, behaviors, patterns. And being so observant that you recognize I'm in a pattern. I recognize I'm at a crossroads. I have a decision right now. I can interrupt somebody, or I can finish listening. I can react to somebody, or I can pause, feel the uncomfortableness that is happening, and choose to respond. I can react to my thoughts that are running rapid in my mind, or I can observe them and neutralize my emotions, because we all should know by now that our thoughts are a signal that we send out. And what we feel is what we pull in to manifest, right? The heart space, what we feel, our magnetic field is what creates. Our thoughts are the signals that we send out. So if we're always reacting emotionally to the thoughts that we are thinking, then we're just constantly creating that in our reality. And so the name of this game is Be the Observer, Choose Wisely. And we're going to see these patterns. We're going to see them come up. We're going to fall into those traps. It's going to happen. It just will. It's going to happen. And you are going to see that mirrored back to you almost instantaneously. And it's not happening to punish you. It's not happening for any negative reason other than to immediately show you so you can course correct. You can go, oh, okay, all right. That is not the right door. That is not the right way to respond. That is not the right way for me. That doesn't work for me. That might work for someone else. That doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So this energy is so imperative this week to slow down. Have you ever heard the saying, the slower you go, the faster you get there? I know it sounds counterintuitive. But the slower you go, the faster you get there. Why is that? So here's something that was coming up for the auto writing, and something that I was really noticing is ego, control. Those are two big keywords, right? The ego likes control because the ego is designed to protect us, to keep us safe. It's not there to sabotage us. But here's the thing about the mind. The mind takes direction from you. It says, what's most important to you? And once I know what's most important to you, I will go on autopilot and run that program until you tell me otherwise. That is so powerful. I hope you hear me when I say this. This is so powerful. The reason why this is so powerful is because what's usually most important to you? The outcome. Controlling the situation so that you're not in fear, so that you feel like you have some power, you feel like you're in charge of your life. Because if you let go, if you go with the flow, you may be vulnerable, you may die, you may get hurt, you may get rejected, denied. And so the ego wants to keep you safe. So what does it do? Right? We start to feel, we start to sense what's coming. We start to really notice, oh, there's things coming. And what happens is the closer it gets to us, whether this is collective energy or something good happening in your life, or maybe something that's about to, something about to pass, or, whatever it is, you feel whatever it is, good or bad or indifferent, coming. As it gets closer, you get more and more information through sensations. And eventually, you get enough where the ego thinks it has enough information to take back control, to take the lead. So you've gotten this much information, and the ego's like, that's enough. I have just enough. I have an idea. I can take it from here. I know. And it starts to go. It starts to run, full steam ahead. And then it gets to where it thinks it's supposed to be, and it's like, shit. This isn't what it's supposed to be. This isn't what it looks like. I'm missing things. This isn't what the outcome we expected. And why is that? Because you didn't have all the ingredients. You probably missed 4 opportunities where you could have collected people, places, and things, information that was needed to complete the manifestation of what your heart knows is destined. But because your ego had just enough, and you were allowing the ego to control, allowing the ego to lead and say, we need to feel safe and in control, we need to know, you let it go. You let it run rampant. You had to control. You had to correct. You had to be right. That is a wounded masculine. That is a wounded masculine. We all have it in us. This is no shame, blame, guilt here by any means. But knowing this is powerful. Knowing how your patterns are, knowing if you are someone that needs to be in control, knowing if you are someone who's afraid of uncertainty, knowing if you are someone that can't let go and go with the flow, knowing if you're somebody that has to be right, has to interject. This is powerful information, so you have to really be observer and look at your patterns. Because here's what you can do. Knowing that the ego, the mind, is going to run on autopilot what is most important to you, this is where you shift your perspective. This is where you shift your virtues, your structure. It has to no longer be about a certain outcome. And instead, it has to be about being present, allowing, going with the flow, being radically self-responsible. Have you ever noticed when we start the awakening journey, all of a sudden we blame everything on the cosmos? And listen, I do it too, right? We've had huge injections from the sun, and that has physical disruptions on our body, right? So I'm someone's like, oh, we're having massive solar injections right now. This is why I feel this way. And that very well may be the case. But we tend to blame everything on the cosmos, when in fact, we really need to look in the mirror and take responsibility and say, maybe I'm going too fast. Maybe I'm in a little bit of fear. Maybe I'm feeling a little uncertain. Maybe I'm feeling a little anxious. Maybe I need to manage my energy. Maybe I need to allow somebody to speak and be heard the way that I want to be. So the most important thing that we can ask of our ego right now is self-control, discipline. That's what discipline is. It's self-control, controlling how you respond to your own thoughts, getting out of the head, into the body, and constantly being in a state of rebalancing. Because this energy is going to very quickly pull away from you, break down, disrupt, shake up anything that's not meant for you, anything that's not serving you. And again, when you choose to hold on to control and fear and go full steam ahead and repeat old programs and patterns, you're going to see an almost instantaneous repercussion from that. And when you choose to let go, to go with the flow, to listen, to not react to the thoughts that are being broadcasted, you will also see an instant benefit. Instant benefit. So if you are somebody that's like, I'm feeling something big coming for me, some big change, some big anything, I feel something magical or whatever it may be, right? You feel like you're meant for something else, something bigger, something brighter, something more soul aligned. It isn't about how fast you can get there. It's not about the actions. Your action is the self-control. Your action is the discipline. It is creating the structure that creates the banks that make you feel safe so that your divine feminine flow can go and carry you where you need to be. And along the way, you will see opportunities, people, places, and things that are important ingredients to make manifest what is your destiny. And I am someone who firmly believes, based upon a mixture of guidance from my guides and personal experience, that saying, you're always where you're supposed to be, is bullshit. It's not always a divine thing. You are where you are. You are where you're supposed to be based upon the decisions that you are making. This is a key ingredient that is missing from those on the awakening journey. The part where they take radical responsibility, right? There's a lot of fake woke going on right now. And a true awakening is about self-awareness. It's about becoming more aware of self. Your shortcomings, your blessings, how strong and beautiful and amazing and enough you already are, of the false programming that you did not install, and the power to choose between the two. It's taking responsibility for where you are. And when you go too fast, when you have to be in control, when you have to be right, when you always feel the need to course correct, to hustle, to make something happen, you are not in alignment. You are in control. You think you know better than your soul. And you don't. We don't. The mind is very, very limited. It can only hear a limited spectrum. It can only see a limited spectrum. It can only understand a limited amount of information. And yes, this expands as we make space, as we clear out programming, as we rewire neural pathways. Of course it does. But we're not storing it necessarily. We're making the space to be in the flow with it. That's why I'm constantly writing stuff down and recording things, right? Because I've made so much space that the information just flows, and 2 seconds later, it's gone. I'm not retaining it because I'm just becoming a vessel and living in the moment and allowing the information to flow, allowing myself to let go, to go where I'm divinely asked to go, to allow it to just be and to unfold. And listen, this is one of the hardest things that we will ever do. Is to be present, is to be here now, is to allow things to just be, to unfold naturally. But I'm here to tell you that what we're experiencing, what's being activated right now, what the energy is telling us and showing us is that for the next 20 years, the old way is not going to work. And you have been being prepared for this for years. You have been given the opportunity for years to prepare for this, to live this way, to learn to ask for help, to get support, to work as a community, to put yourself first, to fill your own cup, to take care and manage your energy. I gotta readjust, my leg's falling asleep. To change your priorities, to restructure the banks that make you feel safe. And this is where we are today. And this is where we are collectively, as we can see, right? There's so many things that are collapsing, that will continue to collapse. And we can choose. We can look at it from a fear-based, what am I going to lose? What's going to happen? Or we can trust that it's happening for us. And we can say, I trust me enough to know that whatever happens, I will be okay. And if I don't know how to make it right, if I don't know how in that moment to do what I need to do to reconcile it, to rebalance it, I can ask for help from other people, from other communities, from mentors, friends. We are not meant to do this alone. We're not meant to be in fear right now. But yes, over the next 3 years, at the least, we are going to see mass deconstruct, as we've already been witnessing. And it feels like it's been happening in slow motion for years already, at least for me. But the truth is it can't all happen at once. All the truth can't be disclosed at once. All the things can't fall at once. That would be too much. And again, we come back to the quote that the guides gave me at the very end of my auto writing, which was, the slower you go, the faster you get there. So it's going to feel like a slow, painful deconstruction sometimes on the collective stage anyway. And maybe that's what you feel like is in your life. I know for me, over the last 3 years, that's what it's felt like. It's felt like a very slow, at times painful, deconstruction. And I'm a Scorpio rising, so I am used to dealing in extremes where I just decide to light the match and burn it all down instantaneously, but that's never served me. And so this time, it's been slow. It's been slow. And it was there to teach me to let go, to not fight with it, because anytime you try to control or fight with what's meant to unfold, it's just going to create suffering. It's just going to create suffering. So over this next week, Be very mindful of your environment. Everything, your money, your relationships, your car, your home, anything else in your environment is going to act as a mirror. It's going to act as a mirror, and it's going to be reflecting something back to you. What is it showing you? It's not always a direct reflect. Sometimes it's a reflection to give you an opportunity to choose differently. Sometimes it's a reflection to give you an opportunity to practice boundaries. And if it's really triggering, if it's triggering you, that is definitely something for you, because that's showing you. Anytime you're triggered, I know a lot of you already know this, but anytime you're triggered or irritated or get pissed really quick by what someone does or what you see, anything like that, somebody says, all they've done is pushed a button of something inside of you. And while you can still choose boundaries and choose not to be treated that way, or have that person in your life, you still have to look in the mirror and say, hey, thanks. This is something now I can work with within myself, something I can reconcile within myself. It's a gift. And once I get through the other side of it, I'm going to have more space inside of me. I'm going to be lighter, more free. When someone's speaking to you, practice putting the tongue to the roof of your mouth and keeping your lips closed. Waiting until they're completely done, taking a breath, and then choosing to speak. When you eat, slow down, chew slowly. Notice the smells, the tastes, the textures. Whatever's happening, be there, because that moment is only right there. And if you're so quick to get to the next moment, you're going to miss the information, the gifts, the ingredients that you need that will create that final manifestation. And if things come up, if you're emotional, if you're tired, if there's things happening, allow them to be emotional. Allow for the release. Don't get swept up in it. Don't make it mean something that it doesn't. This is what this feels like. This is what I say to myself. When I don't feel enough, when I feel lonely, when I feel helpless, I feel that hollowness, I feel that pain, and I say, this is what this feels like. I witness it, I experience it, and then it shifts very quickly, for the most part. When my thoughts are going rampant about how this isn't going to happen, or this isn't going to happen, or the victim mentality, again, I witness it. Wow, that's being broadcast right now. And I know that that's a call for me to neutralize it, to detach from that broadcast, because I definitely don't want to manifest that. Right? So you can disrupt the pattern if you get too caught up in it. Right? You can disrupt it. You can start humming, you can start singing, you can say, what's that smell? And your mind's going to shift and go, oh, there's a smell I need to smell. What's that sound? Your mind's going to shift and go, what do we need to hear? What's that feeling in my body? Your mind's going to shift internally and start seeking something. Snap your fingers, dance, do some jumping jacks. Disrupt the pattern. That is the theme. Disrupt the pattern, choose differently. This is what needs to be your primary focus as we move forward into this energy. So let me see if there's any questions really quick. woman drama. Well, look at it like a reality show, right? If you have drama in your life, observe it from the space of it's like a reality show. You don't have to engage. You don't have to take it personally. That's a choice. When we attach to something and take it personally, we are literally taking it into our person and making it mean something about us. And instead, we can experience grace. And grace says that what another projects is their own pain. And that happens so that we can have compassion, just the same way we need to have compassion for ourselves. When we project, when we blame, when we complain, when those old feelings and emotions come up and we feel lonely or disconnected or not enough or shame or guilt, it's an opportunity for us to have compassion for ourselves and love ourselves, reparent ourselves, restructure ourselves. And this is what the practice is. And this is why, law of attraction, the manifestation world is $1 billion industry, because people don't want to do the work. And the work means you have to be consistent. It's like going to the gym every day. It's like eating healthy every day, right? You have to be consistent. You have to do the work consistently. That's the real journey. There is no quick fix. There is no quick spell. There is no shortcut technique. The shortcut is to go through the damn thing. Can you use a process or a modality to help you move through it? Absolutely. But you have to pick one. You can't try 85 and go, oh, that one didn't work because I didn't see results rapidly. I didn't get instant gratification. That's why I developed the purification process with my guides, because I was like, there's so many processes out there. There's so many ways, and it's confusing, and it's, what's going to work and what's not going to work. And what they brought through was simple and adaptable, could be used with other modalities, and it could be used in any situation. It can be used differently, but the same. And that's what I've used ever since. And it's just made my life easier and able to flow through it. So pick what works for you and stick to it. Give it a real chance. Give it a real chance. Restructuring, creating a new pattern, can take anywhere from 33 days to 42 days to 180 days, depending on you and your consistency. So you got to get clear. Start small. And if you don't know how to do any of this, if you don't know how to create a structure for yourself, if you don't know how to create that consistency, I have a very inexpensive course called Becoming. I think it's like $11. And it's a mini course. It's about 4 hours. And it gives you everything you need to get started, to jumpstart that programming. But the most important part was just to share with you how to navigate the energy this week so that you're successful and not pulled down into the underworld of doom and gloom and tower moments. Not that those things still won't happen, but as Dr. Wayne Dyer has so eloquently said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So if you can't change the environment, you have to change your perception of it. So what's going to happen is going to happen. But how it feels, the impact it has on you, is in your perception of it. It's in your perception of it. It's in how you respond instead of react to it. So slow down, be present, look at the patterns, look at everything that's being reflected back to you, and use that information to help you. To help you. So I hope this helps. I hope this helps you guys to understand how to navigate it. It's great to know all the astrological ins and outs and how it's going to affect your particular sign and blah, 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 blah. But honestly, that's useless information. What you really need to know is this. This is what you need to know. How do I navigate it? Because when you're looking at a map from going here to there, you're not asking how the road was built. You're not asking, who mapped out the map. You're not asking about all of these things. You want to know what you're going to experience along the way and how to be prepared. What's the weather going to be like? How many stops is there? What type of terrain is it? What do I need to know to prepare for it? Yet when it comes to this kind of things, we don't do that. Instead, we want to know all the juicy information about what's happening. But how is that serving you if you don't know how to move through it? If you don't know how to navigate it? It just gives you something to blame. So presence, radical self-responsibility, slowing down, choosing differently, gathering all of the information that is being reflected back to you and using it to help you. For those of you on TikTok, this will be uploaded to YouTube in a little while. So if you want to go back and listen, it'll be there for you. And you can access that through my bio. But I hope this helps. Happy Equinox. Happy new moon. Take this time to go within, to listen, and to love on you. And I will see you next time. Bye.